But yeah, it's time for my first talk ever in HelSec. I'm a little bit nervous. I'm not that often on stage, and also I had a chance to give this presentation standing on a sand, so I couldn't resist that. So that's the reason why I'm standing here and not there, up there. So yeah. So welcome all on my part as well to the HelSec May Meetup. I'm going to give you a presentation about Flubot, which is Android banking malware. Unfortunately, I'm speaking today because we arranged this event in a week and we couldn't get a second speaker, so so I had to come and have a talk. First of all, disclaimer, I had this cool Accenture logo on my first slide, but you have to remind that none of my own opinions or views during this presentation are representing Accenture or HelSec or any other affiliation. So if I talk something stupid, it is just me. So please don't blame my employer or previous employers or any other organizations I'm affiliated with. So that's where I want to start this presentation. And by the way, this is TLP White, so everything can be shared. So my name is Juho Jauhiainen, also known as Whois. I've been doing digital forensics and incident response for the past around 8 years. I started my career from Elisa. I was a salesman, yep, selling stuff, and now I had to look it from there. I'm lead incident response investigator at Accenture. Been there for a few months now, and previously I was working for National Cybersecurity Center of Finland. Also, Master of Science in Technology, diplomi-insinööri in Information Security and Cryptography from Turku. Boo. And and also on my free time I'm hosting a podcast called Turvakäräjät, which if you haven't listened that yet, you should try it out because the two other hosts there are pretty awesome. So, and one of them is here as well. So go ahead and say hey to Laura if you see her somewhere around here. Also founder, KO founder with Osku of HelSec. But that's all about me, and also I'm the person who was doxxed by the Finnish Defense Forces. So they published this picture of me when we won the Locket Shields. And I hadn't told anyone that I was there. So it was interesting feeling on the Friday. I gave an interview for Reserviläinen magazine where this photo was taken for. And on Friday I got some signal messages about that, hey, you won, congratulations. And I was like, what the fuck? I didn't tell you I was there. But yeah, you know, it's all right, but you know, nice surprise. And it was nice to see Pietari talking about the Locket Shields win as well. So kudos to Pietari, and also for Finnish Defense Forces letting him to speak about that. So let's get to the actual topic of today. Flubot. It's Android banking Trojan, distribution through SMS and actually MMS as well, and dropped from compromised WordPress sites. First seen in December 2020, so soon, well, it's soon 2 years old malware in this year, after this year. And the funny thing about it, and why I have been really keen on it, it's the fact that it's continuously developed. So we are seeing a lot of new versions and features coming each and every month. So you are not getting bored with the analysis and seeing new stuff in every version. It also mimics legit applications like DHL, Chrome, voicemail, and Flash Player. Yes, Flash Player. And I was actually really surprised that someone is actually using Flash Player as like a story those SMS messages that led to the page that tried to hoax the user to download the Flash Player application were saying that, hey, we got this video of you, go and download it from here. And the application it offered, the web page offered, was flashplayer.apk. And if you think about it, Flash Player has never been available for Android devices or any other mobile devices. So interesting choice for the threat actors. Overview, I'm going to start with high level and go deep to the low level. So let's start with the high level. So how the malware actually works and spreads. So there is infected phones all around Finland, even when the campaign is not active. When it starts, when it activates, the infected phone starts to spread these SMS messages that are saying something like, sinulle on vastaamaton puhelusoittaja on jättänyt sinulle viestin, without, you know, the Candics, Nordics, the and it will have a link to the drop site, and if the victim clicks the link, they will be taken to a drop site which tries to lure the user to download the APK file from there. If the victim falls for the scam, they will install the actual Flubot to their phone, and it will start by checking the public IP address of the device, because the attacker wants to know where is this host which is compromised. So they are doing some geolocation based on the public IP address of the device. And then, so it makes API call to these services and gets the IP address and stores it to the shared preferences of the Android device. Then it will start the C2 connection, and as it is using DNS over HTTPS, it uses these three providers, which are Google, Cloudflare, and Alibaba. And the C2 is actually a name server of the C2 domain, so it tries to resolve it through these DOH providers, and then get all of the commands which the application is doing from the C2. It actually had a fourth one when it started last year in November. It was NextDNS, and I can highly recommend NextDNS. I have no idea which provider it is, but they are the only ones who started blocking the Flubot traffic. So they started blocking it, and what Flubot threat actor did, they dropped the support for that DOH provider. So if you block their connections, they will drop supporting that provider. And I have been saying that Google, Cloudflare, and Alibaba haven't really done a good job in this, because they are saying that their DNS over HTTPS, it's sacred, and you cannot touch like users' privacy and do any filtering there. So welcome new malware generation where everyone starts to use DOH and we cannot do shit about it. Nice future we have. And then it will get the commands of sending the SMS messages or MMS messages from the C2 and start spreading all over and stealing the user's information. All right, thank you very much. But yeah, let's go a little bit deeper. So I actually gave first time this talk in B-Sides Dublin in March, and I left there, I think it was like on Friday morning I left there, and on Thursday evening I saw this tweet, and I was like, so people are like sharing like fancy new information 2 days before I'm talking about stuff in a conference which is abroad of Finland. So I was pretty hyped that I got accepted to this kind of conference, and then someone is releasing like juicy information. So what I did, I downloaded the PHP file, which they had got, and analyzed it on an airplane while flying to Dublin. So it was pretty heavily obfuscated PHP, and at the end it looked like this. So there was like this host where it downloaded the actual APK and then offered it in from a page. So remind that smurfetta.ru. Right now you don't have to like think about it more, just remember it. We are going back to it later on this presentation. So a little bit highlights about the Flubot. As I said, it started on 2020 in Spain, and there were actually some like police did some arrests in Spain. They arrested people there for newspapers were saying that they were developers of the Flubot, but I highly doubt this, and I think different. I don't think the actual authors are from Spain. And later on this presentation, I will tell who are they probably. I'm not doing attribution, I'm just saying the facts about the malware. So I'm not a CTI guy, so I just do malware analysis, so no attribution. No attribution, no. But yeah, the first time we saw it in Finland was in June 2021. It started targeting Finland. But that was kind of not that effective campaign as they didn't use DOH. They were using like normal DNS for resolvers and so on. So the C2 connection was easy to block by the ISPs in Finland. And it was kind of like mild campaign in Finland. But then in November last year, they introduced the DNS over HTTPS tunnel for the C2, which actually made possible them to like made the campaign huge. And I think the numbers in public were like millions of SMS messages were blocked by day, just in one operator. I think it was Telia who told it to the public. So it was huge volume of phishing messages in Finland. Then after that, it has changed a little bit more, and they introduced this DGA update feature. So they are using domain generation algorithm, which is common in malware, where you generate a lot of different C2 URLs, and they implemented a feature where they can dynamically update the seed they are using for for the generation algorithm. So they can really easily change the C2s without we who are doing like malware analysis statically detecting the changes. We have to emulate the malware so we can actually see which seeds they are using for the DGA. And now it actually, the campaign started, ended in December, and it reactivated again 2 weeks ago. So this is like kinda good time to talk about this malware, because it's pretty you know, it's news at the moment. So let's go. I'm sorry, this is a little bit busy, the slide, but I will let it be there for a while and drink water. So here is the actual obfuscation and the packing explained. So before, last summer, they were having the campaign in Finland. They were using APK protector, which is pretty common way to pack Android malware. And when they restarted the campaign in Finland in November, they brought this new packing method, which was actually unknown for a lot of European certs and so on. So it was first time seen in Finland and a few other countries as well. But shortly, they have this obfuscated first layer. After that, they have archive. And when you extract the archive, there will be encrypted payload, and after the decryption process, it will become an archive, and after like extracting that archive, there will be the classes.dex, which is the file containing all the functions, but it has the same similar custom obfuscation as the first layer had. So multiple layers of packing and obfuscation in this malware. So here is also highlighted the change. So between these two versions, they adopted the new custom packing method, and probably that was because the APK protector is pretty heavily detected by different antivirus software. So they didn't want to use that because if you're using common packers and encryption methods, usually the AV just like detect them. And also, if you know this campaign, which was in Finland a few weeks ago, this where people were getting iMessages that, hey, I got a work offer for you, some dollars for you if you send a WhatsApp message to here. One of my friends was doing interacting with the attacker in that case, and finally they got an APK from the scammer, and it was similar way packed as the Flubot. So for example, F-Secure's AV said that it was Flubot, and that's the reason why my friend contacted me and said that, is this Flubot? And it wasn't. But you know, AVs work in a way that they detect some static stuff, so they usually miscategorize a lot of malware. So that's why like the reverse engineering process is really important. But if we go to the actual packing stuff, so let's take a closer look how it works. So we can see from the Android manifest the usual workflow, how the application, which services and listeners and broadcasts it loads first, and we can see that the first actual activity is this contents and mobile QQ, which is, by the way, Asian browser, is the thing that we should be interested of. But when we decompile the APK, we cannot see the source code. So the unpacking must happen here, and in this specific sample, it's the comcrazygame.leisure.k, where is probably something interesting. And when we go there, we can see that there is some obfuscated strings and some chip entry file, which is the definition of Java, Android Java variable. We can see that the actual file that it's reading is in assets directory in F directory, and the file name is .qu. So that's the file we are interested of. Then if we look forward, we can see that there is some suspicious string, which is actually the password if we see the function where it is given as an argument. And the password is this random Chinese letters, and there is this decryption function, and when you look what that does, you can see that the password becomes this kind of ASCII string. And the password, the Chinese letters actually mean something, which was funny to find that they are actually having like pretty good humor. And there was actually one sample, I couldn't find it when I was doing this presentation, but it has like, it was the English translation of it was like evil, 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 evil. And I find that pretty funny, so kudos to these malware authors, because this kind of stuff, at least I want to see in this malware analysis. But yeah, let's take a look to the decryption function. So we can actually see that only 2 characters of the password are interesting, which are actually used in the final decryption function. So yeah, so long password, but only few characters are used for that. And then after many hours of awake time, I found out how I should write a Python code and actually decrypt the function. And then after that, after writing this POC, it was super easy to do analyze test because they haven't changed the way. So now I have automized the whole decryption function. So when I get new APK, I just run my sheet.pu and it will decrypt the function for me. But if you are a user, how does this process go to, from your point of view? So you download the software, install it, and you can see that there is this dhl.apk. When you open it, it asks you permissions to use your accessibility service. And accessibility service in Android is very, very bad. Basically, you can give like, it gives you all the permissions. So basically the software can do anything. So whenever, if you are an Android user, I'm sorry for you, but you can actually do stuff as well but you can actually do stuff as well to mitigate that and never install software or allow them to use accessibility services. If you are blind, then of course, but if you're not, so, but you know, if you don't need those to use that software or phone, please don't enable them ever. But yeah, and by the way, these strings which say that you have to do this are hard-coded to the malware. So the malware is telling you you have to go to the settings and enable the services so you can use it. Flubot is very persistent on the phone. It's installed as a system service, so you cannot like, well, it's not system service, but it's interrupting some API calls so that you cannot uninstall it. And it also stores a lot of information which it collects from the phone and from the C2 to the shared preferences of the phone. So information it generates during the installation, its bot ID, it changes the default SMS application, so it acts as your new SMS application after installing it. And of course there is a status of notification interception, so it can intercept all of your notifications and also SMS messages. So if you install it, it's game over basically on your phone. Then there is some dynamic stuff like the public IP address, DOH server, C2 server, and the custom seed, which I was talking about a few slides ago. So what does it then tell to the C2? So what are the things it's sending to the C2 server? It always starts with the pre-ping. So it tries to it generates a list of domains, C2 domains, and then it tries to connect them with the pre-ping. And if some of them answers it okay, it will select that as a C2 server. And then it will send a ping, and the ping actually has a lot of parameters in it, and one of them is the version of the Flubot. So it's actually nice that we can see how their version numbering goes up. So the current version is 5.6, which I can see from the ping command when I decrypt the actual APK. And then it has this get injects list. So basically it sends there a list of all applications installed to the phone. And then the C2 answers, hey, I want to spy this user on these applications. And this actually gives a lot of good opportunities to malware analysts, because you can actually give a list of all applications in the world, and then it will return you which applications they are interested of. So yeah, I have some scripts which sends there like a lot of, for example, Finnish applications, and then it answers if they are interested in any of them. And by that I can see which applications the Flubot is currently targeting. No, not. I will tell about the current applications soon. But also it will get the SMS and MMS messages from the server. So basically all of the messages it is sending are coming from the C2 channel. So no hard-coded templates or numbers in the APKs. Then about the DGA, I said it generates a list of C2 domains. So the TLDs are hard-coded. They are obfuscated, obviously, but the list is currently pretty big. Previously, they were using only RU, CN, and SU domains. And SU stands for Soviet Union. Yes, they have a TLD. Of course they have. Why not? I believe there are a lot of legit and good services in that domain. But yeah, so they are looping through that list of TLDs and generating random strings as C2s, and then creating 25 threads to send the pre-ping command to them and check which one should be used. And the actual seed, or the which they are using, is hard-coded there, and it is shown there. It's 1,945. Let's think about what happened on that year. I'm not attributing anything, but you know, the Victory Day, which is really big thing in Russia, started on that year. It may be, this can be just like a, well, you know, there is random things and then there are Santa Clauses. But you know, here is an example list of domains. So as I showed you a few slides ago, there is also current year and month in the generation algorithm. So every month the domain list changes, so they are generating new domains every month. And here are examples from earlier this year, how the lists looked. There were 2,500 domains, so I'm not going to show them all of you, but you know, they are changing the infrastructure a lot. And here is a snapshot how the actual working infra looked in March. And actually, if we look closer, a lot of these are sinkholes. So there are good people in the world as well. Hope lives. But this one here on the bottom was the actual active C2. And we can see this specific AS number here somewhere. Where is my, all right, there. So that AS number is actually this kind of elite team. Sounds legit, right? It's African company that offers really low tier routing to different, and it's cheap to anyone. So basically I can purchase routing from there, and they are sharing my BGP, well, BGP peering. So, and they are also saying that if Netcraft is contacting us, we are doing nothing. Do you know what is Netcraft? It's everyone. It's a service. They are selling their service for companies, and they will take down, for example, phishing sites that are made for those companies. So it's a good service that they are doing a lot of takedown requests for different certs and providers all over the world. Yeah. So basically these are saying, good guys, don't contact us because we are doing shit to your contact. This is today. Yes, I have updated my slides down there a few minutes ago. So this is the infrastructure which is active today. And once again, there is a lot of sinkholes and stuff, but there is this one domain which is currently active, and it is using this 62 point something IP address space, which is Russian provider, Horizon. And if we look at these pages, they are usually giving like custom error page. So there is like nothing on the server hosted, and but they are usually hosted also the domains in the same provider. And this is a snapshot from March as well. But beforehand, they were actually sharing Russian propaganda. Before they were using DOH. So this is 1 year ago. And this is actually from a report, which is source address is there, and at the end of my presentation as well. But they were I think here is someone who speaks better Russian than me, but I think I checked this from Google Translate, and this was like something, hey, you Fed, hope you are having a good day and drink alcohol or something. I don't know.
You called them spies in a previous talk.
Yeah, spies, yeah. But you know, super interesting way to share propaganda on a C2 channel. But yeah, remember this Murfetta. Which AS? Horizon. So this actual deployment server is actually served from the same ASN, which is in Russia. And yeah, why they are using that as a backend, I don't know. Maybe coincidence, maybe they are not trying to hide their activity or something, I don't know. But you know, all the roads lead to Moscow, so I'm not sure. But how the actual C2 channel works, so if we snitch the DNS traffic, we cannot actually see anything, because of course the C2 channel is as well encrypted. So what are they using if they are sending a command to the C2 channel? They are generating an RC4 key, then using asymmetric encryption to encrypt it with a hard-coded public key, and then they're combining that as a blob, and then in the end they are sharing that as to the multiple DNS requests, like subdomains of the C2 domain, and then sending it to the C2 through the C2 channel. So they are doing basically DNS queries and delivering the data in small blobs there, and then the C2 is decrypting it, and if it can decrypt it, it will answer or command it wants the C2 to run, or then just answering OK, which means that just wait for the next command. And how does this look? It's basically this kind of query, so they are basically contacting the DOH providers, for example Cloudflare in this example, and then there is the session ID, request number, so basically this is the request sequence number, the 13, so this is the 14th request, and then there is the second number is if it wants to send more data, or if the next communication should be from the C2 to the client. Then there is this base 32 encoded blob, which includes the encrypted command and also the response. And then there is the C2 host, and it's always TXT type DNS request. So they are using only TXT for the communication. So what commands the C2 actually gives back are here, and it will give like multiple different stuff. For example, they can uninstall applications, update DNS, and have a SOX connection to the device. So they can basically have an active channel to that device and do whatever they want on that device. As I said, it's basically a game over for the user who installs this. It will also upload all of the SMS messages, which are the phishing overlays used by the accessibility service, and so on. So a lot of different opportunities which they can do after the device is infected. And this is the reason why I'm pretty a little bit concerned about that. It's been really active in Finland. We have multiple victims at the moment. Operators are blocking hundreds of thousands of messages per day. So please educate your friends who are using Androids.
And elders.
Yeah, yeah. No, you elders shouldn't use Android devices. That's my opinion. Yeah, Because, and I have good reasoning for this, I have no understanding why it's so easy to sideload applications to Android. I understand that here are pretty hardcore users who use Android for multiple stuff, like I do, for example, for malware analysis. So that's the only reason why I'm using Android. And I'm using iPhone as my private phone. But you know, I don't understand why it is so easy. Why you shouldn't enable it from a boot menu or something beforehand. Why you can enable it through the user interface. I have no idea. What is the reason?
You know,
No.
Actually, for Android 13, Google said that they will prevent side-loaded apps from accessing the accessibility stuff.
All right, that's cool. So he said that the Google will start blocking downloaded apps from accessing the accessibility service. Sideloaded apps from accessing the accessibility service, which is pretty good, and it should kill the Flubot as well. So install the new, or buy an iPhone. That's a better option. But you know, okay, it stopped working. Or is it my computer? All right, I'm sure. But you know. One more, not attribution thing. Remember, not attribution, but fact about the system. Not all system languages are equal. So the Flubot is checking which language the system is using and then deciding if it wants to continue the installation. And here is list of flags, which I cannot recall, except the Russia and Ukraine, and Russia is there double time, probably my Freudiline, but you know, you get the idea. All of these countries have Cyrillic alphabets in use. So it won't install to the systems which are using Cyrillic alphabet. And if we put this to the map, it looks pretty bad. So these countries are off the scope, and rest of the countries are in scope of the Flubot malware. But based on the samples I have analyzed, the Flubot has been in these countries, and a lot of these countries are Western countries which have been in a table for the past few months, for example. So I'm not sure. I have heard rumors that it has been active in Ireland as well, and also in Australia and Japan as well, but I haven't seen samples by my own eyes, so I cannot put these to the maps. But these are the countries I have seen in the samples. Their actual goal is to get your bitcoins. So
I asked you that for previous thing, Ireland was targeted.
yeah, Ireland was targeted, I was told. Yeah, but you know, financial goal, they're doing phishing overlays. It tries to create phishing overlays to target applications. Targeted applications are delivered through the C2, and currently in Finland it's targeting 3 applications. Remember, I told you I gave them the all applications, list of all applications, and they answered me that please do the layer on Gmail, Coinbase, and Binance applications. So they are interested of your emails and your bitcoins. And these web pages actually have sources as well, of course. They are HTML static HTML pages. So they have comments, and those comments are in Russia. Yeah. So conclusion, no attribution. Remember, no attribution here. But the threat actor does not infect systems that use Cyrillic alphabets. The C2 infra is in Russia. Infected HTML code commented with Russian. Old infra shared Russian propaganda. But you know, it's not probably, you know, if it looks like a duck, etc., it's probably not a duck, right? So motivation is unclear. Is it financial? Why they are using a lot of R&D for that? I don't believe that Finnish people have that many bitcoins, or Android users have that many bitcoins. Why would they use Android if they had a lot of money? And also, Yeah, but you know, and also the defense overview, it's super interesting because we are actually running out of methods to block this. And this is fact, because the big providers, Google, Cloudflare, Alibaba, are not interested to filter the traffic, and if they are not, they will allow any malware to use their legit services for communication. And that will be a pain in the ass in the near future. And also, the only way currently to block this is to use SMS and MMS firewalls. And I think the Finnish operators are currently doing a pretty good job in this. So I wish you a lot of energy for that, and hope you can block the whole thing in Finland. But that was all. Here are my resources. If you want to take a look of those, here are a few blogs. F-Secure has written a good blog as well about the Flubot tunneling. It's a little bit old version which they're talking about, but it's a good read. So take a look of those and have a good evening. Thank you very much.